Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Headlocks and Hangovers. I am the Underwaiter with my two chuckle fucks next to me right here.
I chuckled. I am Fresh Voice.
What the fuck studio are we in?
I don't know. I think someone bought one of these.
Oh, I am your custodian, I guess.
And we're joined today by the ever so lovely and bald Drewcifer Jones.
Okay. Hey, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the compliment.
You're welcome. Drewcifer, we talk about you on the show all the time. We talk about how I've forgotten to DM you all the time. And I think a lot of our fans know of you and your shows, but for those of our listeners who don't, you want to give yourself an introduction here?
Sure. I mean, I'll do all the work for you. That's no problem. My name's Andy, also known as Drewcifer Jones, and I'm a local podcaster with you guys in the same area, Ohio. And for years, I did the Road Home from Wrestling podcast, and now moving on to a new project called the Never Open podcast about only New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's been a lot of fun, and I know you guys from Unsanctioned Pro, where we've shared many a good time. So, it's good to finally be on your show with Fresh Voice, Young Custodian, and the Underwaiter.
It sounds so much more professional when he says it.
So if it's called Never Open, does that mean you're always closed?
No, it refers to the Never Open Weight Championship.
Oh,
is
it's
what
not
it
even
refers
a
to.
shirt.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
I
So,
had no idea you're wearing a Never Open shirt. That's awesome.
Well, of course he is. He's promoting it.
Up until recently, we had said that it's open to everyone except Yoshihashi, but now that Yoshihashi's a champion, it's kind of has to be open to him now, and I'm very upset about that.
He's got a belt. I had a bet going on whether Wato or Yoshihashi would get a belt first, and I'm a little disappointed that it wasn't Wato. I'm not gonna lie.
I was fully prepared for Doki to win the title before Yoshihashi in that tournament. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Yoshihashi's gross.
I agree with Young Custodian, but let's pronounce the guy's name right. It's Dookie. That's how it's pronounced. All right? So let's make sure that we say it
I
right.
tried that on the show a couple weeks ago, and they gave me hell about it. So I was just trying to be phonetically correct.
So you talked about a little bit about Unsanctioned Pro. You go to a lot of local indie productions. Would you say, not to be biased, Unsanctioned Pro might be your favorite?
Well, here's what's going on there, or has been going on there in the past, is that, and I've witnessed this at many promotions, and it only happens for a little while usually, and it's this like magical lightning in a bottle thing where, I'm looking across the ring at you guys, you're having the time of your life, and we're just looking at each other, sharing this experience like it's some kind of drug experience or something. That's how I've always described it. And Unsanctioned Pro has kind of been able to manufacture that throughout now almost 2 years now, I guess. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a while. And so that's very rare. So that's one of the reasons why it's a special place to me. The promoter, Derek, has been very kind to me and you guys as well. And when we go to one of those shows, it's not just some show that I'm going to. It's a special event, and it's special to me for many reasons, those would being a few of them.
I watched some of the old
Wrestling.
Old
wrestling. That's
I
good
did
shit
some.
I did some Drewcifer spotting while watching, but man, I am so excited to go to one of those. I took your recommendation, and I love it. I think it's so good as a product and an idea.
That was one of the most fun shows that we went to in 2019, I guess. And I mean, we went to like 100 shows, so I mean, it's not like that was just 1 out of 10 or something like that. I mean, we go to so many shows that, it can be boring and stuff's always the same. And yeah, it's fun. But when you find a place like Old Wrestling that's kind of like gives you that same feeling that Unsanctioned Pro does, but in a more like wholesome and just, I don't know, it's like going to the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah,
Like everybody's like in on the joke, it's like that. It's fucking awesome, man. I love that place. You guys should definitely go if they have it this year.
You would fit in well.
Oh yeah, why's that?
Anyway, I'm
So
they had custodians back.
Yeah.
Custodians
You're fine.
Yeah,
have been around
that's what I was.
for ages.
That's what I was gonna say.
well, the world's oldest profession. So yeah, like I was saying, it seemed like you're really excited to do this New Japan focused show. You guys are always talking on Twitter about everything New Japan. I like how you've said this before in the show. You try to make everything educational, and I think that's super important when it comes to New Japan because like the wrestling is phenomenal, but it's hard to get your foot in the door of like where do I start to enjoy New Japan with it being so foreign. So I really like what you guys are doing with that.
It's weird. Japanese wrestling is it's super fucking weird. And so like when you first start watching it, like when I first started watching it, there was no English commentary. And so I just had to figure all this shit out. And like guys like Naito, I'm like, okay, this guy is a Japanese dude who speaks in Spanish and spits on people, but everyone loves him, you know? And so I had to figure out what that is. And so it's really fun to kind of have that same journey now. And, you know, if you guys want to follow us at Never Open Pod on Twitter and Instagram, you know, and we're on Facebook too, but, you know, I don't go on there very often, but my point is that, you know, we're always posting cool videos and stuff like that and talking about the shows, and we tweet live during the show. Me and my co-host Luke, he lives in Australia. I live in Ohio. So one of us, if not both of us, are up during the live shows and we tweet during it. And it's a lot of fun because there's like this whole community of people that just get together at 5:30 a.m., you know, to watch New Japan live. It's really fun, you know? Mm-hmm. You mentioned Wrestle Kingdom Fresh Voice, and this year, oh my God, I loved it. It's an amazing show, but my God, it was like 9 hours long over 2 days. And that was rough towards the end of that second night because, man, I was falling asleep during the most exciting parts, and I hate to do that. You know, that's a sin, you know, in my house. So
people were giving WrestleMania crap for, you know, being so long and everybody's sitting out there in the sun that whole time, and then I just got to think like, well, Wrestle Kingdom fans do that for 2 days straight. Mm-hmm. So like, is it really that bad? I wonder.
Well, now it's 3 days because it used to be, you know, you'd have Wrestle Kingdom on one night, and then the next night they'd have New Year's Dash, and now it's Wrestle Kingdom, and New Year's Dash. I'm not a huge fan of that. You know, I'm a big fan of always leave them wanting more, and I think that wrestling gets a little carried away sometimes with not valuing the time of their fans, and we see that a lot on the indies. And it's kind of like, all right, we've been here 6 hours and this fucking show's still going on, and am I ever going to get home? You know, it's frustrating sometimes, but you know, sometimes that's when really fun things happen, when you're exhausted.
That's why WrestleMania weekend is so hard, because it's all those indie shows stacked on top of WrestleMania, which is always 48 hours long in itself. So you try to cram like 200 hours worth of wrestling over 3 days. It's wild.
When we were trying to book our trip to Florida this year for the whole WrestleMania weekend thing, it was like there was shows on top of shows that we wanted to go to, and it was like, okay, if I'm leaving this show, we have 15 minutes to go down the street to this show and that kind of thing.
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
And then that kind of, it's not fun when you're trying. I mean, that's like, people do that with vacations all the time. They like plan their vacation out, and it just becomes a big, you know, stressed out ordeal. And meanwhile, you just want to chill, man. I do find that frustrating that, you know, wrestling has had those kinds of issues. But, you know, the situation that we're in now, everybody's had to take a step back, you know. And one of the things I've realized over the past couple months is that wrestling's never going to return to what it was, ever. And so, and that's okay. It's a new thing, you know, and so we have to find a new way to enjoy it in the ways that we can. And so, you know, it's kind of good in a way, because I think a lot of people have had to take a step back. Wrestlers that have been injured for years have finally like gotten healed, you know, because there's a lot of guys out there that'll be like, oh, my side hurts. I hope it goes away. You know, and
before
and
next Monday
wrestling.
Or something, yeah.
Right, you know, and so nowadays those guys can kind of rest for a little bit. And I think some of these promoters, you know, have had a chance to take a good hard look at what they're actually doing by running shows and how important it is to them, because we live in Ohio where we're not going to have wrestling again until next year at the earliest, it seems like, and maybe not even then. Which is okay with me, you know, I'm surviving. It sucks, but that's one of the reasons why I've dived so hard into New Japan, is because it's something I can enjoy from afar. I don't know any of those people. I'm not going to know any of those people. And so if they turn out to be the worst people on earth, that's kind of okay. You know, I haven't given them my check mark of approval, you know, like I have other people in America that have turned out to be fucking pieces of shit. So, But that's why the road home from wrestling's kind of coming to an end, is because of just things. I was just looking the other day. I was listening to an old episode that we did, and I was thanking Joey Ryan for retweeting something of mine, and it's like I had no fucking idea, you know what I mean? And I look like some kind of asshole. Meanwhile, I was just trying to be a nice guy. So that whole situation caused me a lot of grief. And I mean, Mike Quackenbush is a guy who's been on my show a million times. He was friendly with me. He's been friends with me, and he turned out to be a fucking asshole. And it's like, well, who's next? So I can't trust anybody anymore. And so that's why I want to kind of cover wrestling that's thousands of miles away. So.
And they can just be Yoshihashis from 1,000 miles away, and nobody is, any of them more upset.
What are you talking about?
Now, it's interesting. I have had some people give me shit. There's actually a review. If you want to leave us a review, Never Open Podcast on iTunes. There's a review, and someone's like, I really like this show, but I don't understand the Godo hate. And he's just talking about me.
That wasn't me.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just don't like Godo. I mean, do you guys like Godo? What is there to like?
So, basically, Godo is just, they're basically booking him as Diet Shibata, and I don't like it.
I like Diet Shibata. I like the whole, he's a strong style, Ronin looking guy, does the headbutts now, and he's real stiff, and I'm gonna get the Godo mullet here eventually someday.
It didn't work out last time.
I know, but I'm growing it out again, and I really like what Godo's selling. That's what it is.
As a wrestler, I like him, but overall, I think can aspire to a lot more. He's been in the company long enough that he should have a shot with the main title and run with it. It's not right now because the Evil's going to run with it, and I like it, but you can shake your head all you want, and that's fine. But I think he eventually will aspire and get to the belt.
I mean, my beef with Godo is that he's not his own guy. He's not his own wrestler. He's like an amalgamation of a couple different wrestlers, and also, if you think about the best Godo matches, what are the best Godo matches? All that one with Kenny Omega, all that one with Naito, I don't know of one where he wrestled someone who wasn't as good as him and he brought them up to that level. It's always the other way around. So, just saying.
So while we're airing our grievances, tell me your thoughts on Watto, please.
I like Master Watto. There is a little irony there, so it is a lot of kind of I'm sure you've seen me just post a close-up picture of his face on Twitter for no reason, because I think it's funny. And, his gimmick is super goofy. It's ridiculous, but it's everything I love about Japanese wrestling. Fucking weird, goofy. I don't really understand it, but he's a good wrestler. And he's doing, he's out there doing Master Watto shit. And, that's one thing that wrestlers have to have their own identity.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody in New Japan that looks more like a WWE creative character. But he is, he's good. I mentioned this to you before. I like his kick offense a lot. He's got some good stuff that he's working with. But, man, visually, he looks like a box of Crunch Berries. I'm going to die on that hill. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I genuinely don't care about Watto. I don't have any opinions on him, good or bad. He's a good wrestler, I guess. I don't care.
He's a guy who's very fresh in the beginning. I remember him when he was in his young lion phases and whatnot. But I feel like it's going to be a matter of time for him to grow. It's not going to be a matter of where Roppongi 3K comes back from excursion and they get immediately thrown into the junior tag division and getting the belts. It's gonna be the slow game with Watto. But I'm not the biggest fan. But he can grow.
To be fair, I wasn't the biggest fan of Jay White when he was a young lion, and I wasn't a fan of the Switchblade character when it first started, and now I'm a huge fan of him. So
you look like you want something to say.
Oh,
yeah. I changed my views, man.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I was just gonna say, Jay White, hugely underrated. If you get a chance, I know you probably already watched it, but go back, watch his match versus Naito at Wrestle Kingdom, and watch the most masterful selling like ever. It's like one of the greatest matches ever. People were like, oh, they keep botching stuff. And it's like, no, they're selling Naito's leg being broken. That's what they're doing, you know. And it's just one of the best matches of Wrestle Kingdom. And Jay White is like the total package, not like Lex Luger, but like, you know, a modern thing. And I do like Lex Luger, though, by the way. I have a lot of controversial beliefs, but I just think he's awesome. I can't wait till he comes back. He tweeted recently, the 29th of this month, maybe he'll be back at Jingo Stadium. Maybe we'll get to see him take on Evil. Maybe we'll get to see him rejoin Bullet Club and hoist Evil above. We don't know. It's going to be great to find out. I can't wait.
So, in regard to the thought of Jay White coming back, do you think there's going to be a fight for the king of the hill of what is Bullet Club, or is there going to be a civil war, or what is your thought between that and Evil?
You know, if they do something like that, they'll play it out for a while, and I think that, you know, I mean, Bullet Club's got a really great problem. They have like 4 leaders, you know, and so I think recently Tama Tonga had said that he's going to welcome Evil with open arms. He's had his eye on Evil for a long time, so there's a lot of talk like that going on. You know, I'm interested to see what happens. I'm not a big predictions guy because it just makes you look dumb when you're wrong, you know, which is most of the time for me. But you know, I have a feeling that something like that, if something's going to change as far as that goes, it'll be down the road a little bit after this whole Naito thing is kind of, you know, changed. And who knows? There may be a new member of LIJ coming up. We don't know, you know? Maybe Master Water.
Are you saying John Cena confirmed LIJ? Is that what I heard? Wow. B-Gas, LIJ? Oh my God.
What? The only thing I could see him going to is Chaos, and I hate it. But I'm like,
he's fucking Chaos all day.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Taguchi Japan.
Or Taguchi Japan. That's not a bad idea. So is the Never Open division your favorite division in New Japan?
It's mine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me and my co-host Luke, we've been watching New Japan together, like, you know, it separately together. I don't know how you'd say that, but like tweeting together and stuff like that for years now. And we're both massive Ishii fans. And so, you know, we came up with this kind of thing where we talk about, oh, this match is pretty never. You know, you know that guy, he's kind of never, you know. And so that's one of the things on the show is that we like stuff that's never as fuck. And like Ishii, he's never as fuck. You know, Goto, he's kind of never. He's a little never, you know. I mean,
a little never.
You know, there's a lot of guys out there that are pretty never, and so that's kind of the shit we really like the most. And so, you know, there's so many podcast names and all this stuff, and we want to come up with something unique because unlike the Road Home from Wrestling, this show doesn't have a gimmick to rely on to make it different. It's more of a traditional podcast. So because of that, you know, we needed a name that would stand out. And this design that I have on my shirt, which you can buy at our Teespring store, just kind of came to my mind, you know, and my buddy Luke named it, and Derek actually made this for us. And so, you know, I don't know, it just all kind of came together real quick. And so that was a great name. I just thought it was funny because people that don't know what it is won't know what it is, and people that do will. And that's just a kind of fun inside joke. The key to good podcasts and getting a loyal listenership is inside jokes and stuff like that only they get, you know? Right. And so that way, when you see that person, you can, you know, next time I see you guys, say, hey, do you think that match is pretty never, right? You know? And so we have that thing.
He's no Goto, but maybe.
Oh, God. We need to work on some jokes, boys. Our podcast ain't funny at all.
I mean, you're a pretty big joke.
And you're pretty big.
So, never as fuck. Never's got to be like, because I think the never division is pretty hoss. Like, that's the adjective I think I would describe the whole never division is super hoss and super stiff. Is that never as fuck?
It can be. It you know, it's basically the kind of folks that are never, it's just a very physical style of match. I mean, Shingo is fucking never. I mean,
never
he is
as fuck.
fucking never, you know?
Shimmy!
So it's like guys like that. We're going through some stuff right now. Every week we recommend a match. We just recently recommended the first never open title match ever: Carl Anderson versus Masato Tanaka. Masato Tanaka was the first never open weight champion. That tells you a lot. He's pretty fucking never.
Well, I think the last thing, unless you boys have got any questions, that I was going to ask you is probably something that every wrestling group talks about when they talk about New Japan.
What color is your poop?
If you had to align yourself with a faction in New Japan, who would it be and why?
What's up, Jay? Yeah. So, you guys know Lexus Montez, right? He's
Yes.
a wrestler.
Yeah.
He's been up there at Unsanctioned Pro. So, years ago, when I first met him, he was doing some of that Naito stuff in the ring. He used to do the eye thing and stuff like that. And you guys have probably seen pictures of me and him doing the Naito salute. And we've been doing that for years. So, that was always like when I first started watching it, I didn't really know what the factions were. And LIJ was kind of the first faction that I understood because I saw it form. I watched it when it was just Naito and Evil, and then I saw Bushi join and I saw, all the other guys join. And so like seeing it come together kind of gives you that, special connection with it. And plus, man, it's just those guys are ingovernable, man. They can't be governed. Okay. So that's what I got. I just love those guys. I think they're awesome wrestlers. And, the fact that they added Shingo just made it like twice as good. And I just love it.
Yeah,
like,
that junior heavyweight.
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah, let's bring Shingo in and first put him in the junior heavyweight division because, obviously.
It looks like he's got a junior in each pec muscle on his chest.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. Well, Drewcifer, I guess you go by Andy on your show. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. It's been a lot of fun, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Indiana on September 29th.
Yes.
26th. I'm messing up the plug. In Salem, Indiana, at Unsanctioned Pro 9.
I will definitely be there. I've been to that venue before, actually, because Paul Cade was there. And you guys are going to have a good time there. So if you have questions about the venue, let me know. I'll be happy to answer those for you. But if folks want to follow me, my personal Twitter is @DrewciferTweets. The show Twitter is @NeverOpenPod. And you can find us right now. We're on Podbean and we're on iTunes and Google Podcasts and probably all the other kind of podcast apps, except fucking Spotify. God, I can't get on. I just don't think they like wrestling.
Who does
Well, WWE's got their stick on there now, so maybe they're trying to claim some territory.
Maybe Joe Rogan.
Do not listen to WWE podcasts, all right? Don't do it. There are trying to take from you and I. That's what they're out there doing. So fuck them. Those guys are a bunch of assholes coming in to this. This is our place. This is our stuff. Fuck those guys. It's like if a movie star came into the local high school and started fucking acting in the plays and being like, "Oh, I'm sorry you didn't get a part." I'm Laurence Olivier. It's fucking bullshit. Get out of here. I don't like it. Don't do it. Don't bring it up either, because it pisses me off.
That's a trigger. Write that down. That's a trigger.
I asked him before we did this. I was like, anything we don't want to talk about. And he's like, nah, man, everything's on the table. Don't talk about the fact that we talk about New Day podcast every week on our fucking show.
No, stop it. You're killing me, man. Well, as long as you hit play on mine and you hit play on theirs, I guess it's okay. But man, fuck those guys.
It's been great talking to you. We'll see you around.
Bye, Dad.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you later.